one can use in order to change the world. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to MK MEDAI for your favorite show, Dis-moi ce que tu fais. The show portrays entrepreneurs and most importantly, portray their activities and their history. Very important. Today we are touching the educational sector, a very, very important sector in our daily life, in our society in general. And we are with Hardford International School. The representative is here with us in the name of Mr. Fuh Zang. Good morning, Mr. Fuh Zang.
Good morning and thanks to MK MEDAI for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, to start, I think it's important our viewers know who you are and what's your role at Hardford International School.
Fuh Zang is a young Cameroonian. People usually ask me the name Zang. Are you from the center? I just answer that I'm a Cameroonian. I'm a Cameroonian, so who studied in the Northwest, migrated to Yaoundé, studied in the University of Yaoundé, one in the Faculty of Science. After my master's in parasitology, I went into education while looking for competitive exams, but with time, I took interest in education. So I've been a teacher and an administrator for the past 11 years because I started that since 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, I started that since 2014 in an institution that for the moment I would prefer to not to mention the name.
Okay.
I worked there for close to 2014 to 2021 before applying to Hardford. I did not come to Hardford. That's what I want to encourage other Cameroonians, that everything is possible. I did not come to Hardford because somebody recommended me.
Yeah.
I randomly applied like any other person, and I was shortlisted, called for interview, and I was taken at Hardford as the vice principal. I worked as the vice principal there just for 2 weeks and was promoted to the post of the principal. So I'm the principal of Hardford since September 2022.
I think the story is very important and it should inspire others. You mentioned something very important because Cameroonians nowadays, they might have the experience, they might have the knowledge, but they are expecting someone will come and look for them. Meanwhile, they don't want to try, they don't want to innovate, they don't want to be creative in order to apply before they are even being called upon for the interview and whatsoever follows. So it's very important our youth, especially our youth, should be able to apply. It's better you apply and later on you're being denied a job than for you not to apply and you remain idle at home. I think it's very important.
Of course, it's something to be done every day. Once you are armed with the certificate that you have, because applying to needs some prerequisites, the certificates, the experience and all that. Once you are armed with that, while looking for others, keep applying every day. It should be a routine for every youth. Keep trying and don't wait that somebody will come and pick your hand to go somewhere. So that's the game.
That's great. Well, from vice principal to principal at Hardford International School, so can you give us an overview of what Hardford International School is and especially what it offers to the students and community in general?
All right, Hardford International School is an Anglo-Saxon school running from pre-nursery, kindergarten, up to high school, opposite arts and science for the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically what Hardford International School is. And when people keep asking the name international, which I might disclose in the course of our discussion, but then we also have as an ambition to run the international program. It's just that for the moment, we don't have the enrollment that permits us to run the international program. International programs, I mean the Cambridge system, the IB system, that's the International Baccalaureate system. When we'll have the enrollment, we'll have the enrollment that permits us to run that, then we'll start running the international system. Yeah, in collaboration with the British Council because they are in charge of giving accreditation for schools to be able to run the international system. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I believe our viewers are also anxious to get it. Who is the founder, or let me say, who owns Hardford International School, and especially why was Hardford International School created? Because we always say it, as an entrepreneur, you innovate in order to solve a problem, a particular problem in our society. So, what was the reason for creating Hardford International School in the first place?
Uh, the owner of Hardford International School, the proprietor, who is being also guided by a board of directors. The proprietor is Mr. Fon Pius, whom I'm saying hi. He's a Cameroonian,
Okay.
but he has passed most of his life out of Cameroon, like Germany, United States, China, Canada, and the rest. So, to your second question, the motive behind him creating Hardford International School is because he has seen the way other countries abroad, I mean some African countries that are way ahead of Cameroon,
Yeah.
if I can put it that way, and some European countries, the US also, Canada. He has seen the way they are structured, and for Cameroon to be able to reach that level, it starts with education. So he thought it wise. After acquiring something out there, he also thought it wise to bring it back to his country. It's a way of giving back, and maybe in the social society, educational community, he thought that okay, since maybe his generation are not able to benefit from other things that he has discovered out there, at least upcoming generations can benefit. That's why he created Hartford, to be able to give that type of education that other kids are having in some parts of Africa that are more developed than Cameroon and maybe in the Western countries. Yeah,
Sorry.
that was the motive behind creating Hardford International School.
That's beautiful. I think
Yeah.
it should be uploaded. And many people from our diaspora should take note. Because there are many of them nowadays who decide to go the land, but they are not always willing to come back in order to innovate in our country. Meanwhile, we need it in our country. So it's very important. Well, with all this ambition, I want to know what is the vision of Hardford International School and most importantly, the philosophy.
The vision of Hartford is, like I said, bringing what is being taught in other countries to Hartford, maybe in the US, because his model is a US model. Even though presently we are running just the national system of education in Hartford, but deeply with maybe more practical than just theory. I take, for example, in the Anglo-Saxon system, students like science students go to the lab as from lower seed according to the program.
Yeah.
But we don't limit just the lower seed students to go to the science lab. We start taking them to the science lab as from Form 1 so that they start getting acquainted. That's part of being practical in what we are teaching. Same with the computer lab. We don't limit it maybe to Form 4 or Form 5. We start taking them even as from the primary. They should know how to manipulate the computer because we are in the digital world already. We cannot run away from that. So those are some of the practical things that we do in Hartford, that we don't just limit ourselves to how the program is structured, but we want the students to get hands-on learning experience. Yeah.
Well, I think we should go back to the name Hardford International School, and the fact that you mentioned is a purely Anglo-Saxon school. If we want to look at the localization, we're in Yaoundé, and it's also true that Cameroon is a bilingual country. And many schools who decide to, let me say, have a branch in Yaoundé, they actually decide to be bilingual, or let me say, francophone section for those who don't want to be bilingual. So, why is Hardford International School an Anglo-Saxon? I mean, purely Anglo-Saxon school.
Hartford International School, the proprietor decided to make it purely Anglo-Saxon. Those are some personal goals of his, in order to make Cameroonians feel the type of education he himself went through. Yeah, and when you receive something and you believe in that thing, you also want to pass it on to others, so that they feel exactly what you are feeling. Maybe they have the opportunities that you have. And then secondly, Cameroon is bilingual. Yes, when you go into the details with the authorization of Hartford, you see that we have the authorization to run a bilingual system, but for now we decided to model it just for the Anglo-Saxon system. Why? Because a lot of Cameroonian parents or a lot of Cameroonians discovered with time, I am not trying to maybe discredit the other system of education, but a lot of Cameroonians discovered that for their kids to really excel, insofar as globally is concerned in the world, it's good to be English oriented and digital oriented. So that's the reason why Hardford is running like just the Anglo-Saxon system of education. And when you do studies, when you do survey, you see that since dating from maybe like the late 90s, a lot of students, before even the Anglophone crisis, a lot of students were migrating from French regions to English regions to put their children in some English schools.
That's true.
Yeah, from Yaoundé to Bamenda, Douala to Bamenda, or from Yaoundé to the southwest, especially boarding schools and all that. So they were choosing that. So, okay, the proprietor also thought that, okay, instead of some parents to be migrating to those regions, why not also bring it to Yaoundé? While looking forward to create other branches in other regions. So basically, those are the reasons why for now we decide to run the Anglo-Saxon education. When you go to Anglo-Saxon school, you will not only find maybe English region, children from the English region. You find a mixed blend of children from all the regions. So we are all Cameroonians, and parents who chose the system are welcome. And people will say that, some people will say that, why not make it bilingual and all that? He's having an objective with his team. It's not a matter of just making it bilingual. It means we would have gone out of the rail of his objective, his vision, and his mission. So for now, we limit it to the Anglo-Saxon system.
Great. We're also talking about the localization and pointing out the vision. It is true that Hardford International School is following a close vision of the founder. But again, if you want to look in Yaoundé, as a business, you're not just out in order to have a social impact, but also economical. So at this moment, if you want to do a little comparison when it comes to the clients, the people coming to pay installment of their children at Hardford, and you look at it and you want to compare it to a school who decides to be bilingual, where is the difference at that moment? Are you having more impact, or let me say more students, than a school who decides to be bilingual?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. Like I said from the beginning, it really depends on the vision of the proprietor or the group of people owning an institution. Yeah, maybe you can look around with other schools that decides to be a bilingual school in order to get parents to come in and they have that blown up enrollment. But if somebody decides to stick to his vision, achieve that vision first before looking at the finances. So that is basically the vision of the proprietor. He's not only looking at the finances, even though private schools also, some people go inside for the financial benefits of it. And we should not forget that private institutions are a partner to the government, because the government alone cannot educate all Cameroonians. The government alone, all Cameroonians cannot go to maybe government schools. We'll have an overflow of students and it will be difficult. Imagine that in a region like Yaoundé, we have just like maybe 40 government schools and 300 and something private schools. So to tell you that the government alone cannot contain all that. And with the private schools, there are a lot of people there with different motives, different visions. Some go in there just for the financial benefits. Some go in for the social satisfaction that, okay, I saw something somewhere and I brought it to my place to benefit my people, before looking beyond the financial aspect of it. Yeah. So with the enrollment we have now, if it was just the financial aspect of it, will be maybe 3 times the enrollment that we have now. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Well, so you know it's the 21st century, and you earlier mentioned it's all digitalization. It is something real. It has a very important place in our society and in our school to begin. So I want to know, what role does technology has at Hardford International School? How do you use technology at Hardford International School?
All right, like I say, uh, we have a well-equipped computer science laboratory, which at the same time is serving as a multimedia uh, space.
Okay.
Computer science laboratory serving all learners from primary up to high school for them to get used to the computer or other electronic gadgets. And in the computer lab, we have uh, internet coverage 24/7, and we have a projector. We have a projector in the computer lab, and we have a roving projector in order to project lessons in other classes if need be. Because if a teacher has prepared their lesson with PowerPoint, if they need the projector, we give the teacher goes and project the lesson in a classroom. So at the same time with the computer lab, we also follow the digitalized lessons that have been prepared by the Ministry of Secondary Education, because they always publish the links for students to follow up with the revision lessons that have been given by the digital center created by the Ministry of Secondary Education. So apart from that, we also encourage parents to get some of those computers at home for their kids, so that while they learn in school and they go back home, if anything is given as assignment, they can continue following up at home.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have the vision of maybe making it one student, one computer, or one student, one maybe electronic gadget, in order to continue following up lessons electronically.
Very
Yeah.
important. Also, it is true. Many people from school administration, they always mention the fact that they have the materials. But I believe what is more important is how the material can affect the students. So I want to know if the material, the technological gadgets available are actually able to affect the student positively, like cause an impact and a positive one in their lives. And most importantly, make them ready for the future ahead.
Yes, of course. The proprietor will not equip the computer lab for us to lock it up. The computer lab is open 5 on 7. That is from Monday to Friday. And if we have other extra classes to be done on Saturday, we open it up on Saturday, because we work from Monday to Saturday. And asking if the students they can have an impact after leaving Hartford and they are ready for something, I would say a big yes, because apart from following up with the national program to cover it before the end of the 9 months, during holidays we always organize other classes, computer classes, language classes, and other clubs that continue. So Hartford is always running 12 on 12,
That's great.
not only 9 on 12, but 12 on 12. For those who have understood the vision of Hartford, even though all the students cannot come back during the 3 months holidays and continue, but some that are really enthusiastic and want to gain something from what Hartford is offering, they always come back during the 3 months holidays to have accelerated training in computer science, computer knowledge, the basic computer knowledge that can at least help a student to do something with his or her life after advanced level before pursuing their higher institution.
Very
Yeah.
important. I think that's very beautiful.
Yeah.
Because there have been many students who fell victim of this. They have been to schools, the computer labs were there. They were even taught, even written, the theoretical aspect and practical. But at the end of the day, when they leave school, they are not able to apply. You ask a young person, a young student, fresh graduate, and he will not be able to manipulate a computer. Meanwhile, back in school, the machines were there. They were actually taught in school, but at the end of the day, they cannot practice. So it is very important. The practical aspect should be put forward. I think it's very good. So still talking about the technology, but this time around, I want us to look at the infrastructure of the school in general. So what atmosphere reigns at Hardford International School when we want to look at the environment in general?
Modern infrastructure, I'm sure maybe you have been there.
Of course.
You see it and comparing to other schools. Modern infrastructure, the American type, and what makes us stand out is the clean nature of the environment. Because they always say cleanliness is next to godliness, and students cannot learn in a disorder or dirty environment.
Of course.
The environment needs to be clean and serene in order to enhance learning and teaching. So what we stand out with is the clean nature of the environment and the security measures that we always take. Since we are dealing with kids, we are dealing with human beings, we always take a lot of security measures in order for the parents to be sure that where they are sending their kids, they are safe coming to school and going back. With that, we have security cameras installed everywhere around campus and at the entrance of the campus. So students are covered while they are putting on the uniform of Hardford International School. Covered not just with the security, but also with insurance, because we pay insurance for students every year. So when you are putting on that uniform, you are covered by the insurance of Hardford till you reach home and remove the uniform. So apart from that, I don't know what you want me to mention again.
That's great.
Okay.
Well, I think we should touch parents, because nowadays parents, I think it has always been something real. Parents have an important role to play when it comes to education of their kids. So how do you handle the relationship with parents, especially collaboration?
Yeah, let me say it the Cameroon way.
Great.
That other colleagues have been decrying. That a lot of parents, not all,
Okay.
a lot of parents have given up on their responsibilities.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
boil it down to the fact that when I've paid the fees, the school should do what they are supposed to do, and the parents just expect the results to come. Meanwhile, it's not the case.
Yeah.
It's not the case. It's an educative. It's an educative community. So the community is made up of the teachers, the administration, the parents, and the students.
Okay.
Each member of that community has a role to play. Take for instance that a student comes to school, the teacher does his or her work by teaching and guiding the students, and then at the end of the lesson, they give assignment to be done. Who is supposed to follow up that assignment is the parent at home,
Of course.
to make sure that you have come back, you have rested, you have eaten, have you done your assignment? It's the parent that is supposed to follow that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So parents have a great role to play, and what we do in order to involve parents in the educational community is constant communication with them. What Hartford does is that every day, every working day, every schooling day, we go around, we do roll call, we make sure we publish in the different forums who is present, who is absent on that same day, because there are some kids too that leave the house and they don't reach school.
Exactly.
If the school doesn't communicate to the parents will never know. They
Yeah.
will only leave where they were, where that we don't know, and then during closing, and then they go back home. The parents will know that they were in school.
It's cool.
Another thing is true that pedagogically, when a teacher is giving a lesson, he or she needs to circulate to ensure that all the students are taking the notes.
Exactly.
After the 1 hour class, some still end up not copying complete notes. The parents need to follow them up at home to see that, this is what you did today, this is what we did today, and maybe relate to the school as well. It's not only, the parents should not only wait for the school to call, even though we do that. The parents should also be able to signal if the child is not picking up at home with even what the parent is asking the child to do. So it's a win-win something. Like the school does what they have to do, the parents do their own, and the students have their own to do, because we always say that the students have the greatest part to play. Like they have like 50% to play, and the parents and the teachers, they divide the other 50%.
It's a future after all.
Yeah, so that's how we do. We have a general WhatsApp forum that we created for all parents, that we give information, administrative information, and we have fora for different classrooms
Great.
in order to inform the parents on the evolution of teaching and learning and academics, results, and the rest. I just had a meeting with the parents, I think on the 15th, last Saturday, to inform them, give them compte rendu on the first evaluation results, and so that together we can diagnose what is wrong, that some of them are not performing well. We always need to involve the parents so that the parents should not be surprised at the end of the year that, but this guy was going to school every day and how come I'm having this result? So we inform them. We even have meetings with them at least 3 times a year to inform them on the evolution of teaching and learning and with the result. We also advise them on what to do because some of them need us to also tell them what to do in order for the collaboration to work very well. We advise them on what to do at home when the children come back. You imagine that maybe at the end of a month, school started in September, at the end of September, maybe in October, some students don't have textbooks. Meanwhile, the parents bought the textbooks, but after some time, they misplaced them. If that parent is not vigilant enough in the house that, okay, after 2 weeks, after 1 month, bring your textbooks, let me see. Bring the textbooks I bought, let me see. The parent will know that the student is studying. Meanwhile, maybe they have abandoned them in class without any name written on it. We collect and wait that a student will come and ask. The student will end up not coming to ask. And then the parent too is at home. The parent need to put some pressure at home. That bring me your exercise book, let me check your notes. Bring your textbooks, let me see. From there, they can discover if the textbooks are still there or they are no longer there.
Very important.
So we always put that communication very important between the school and the parents. We don't only do it virtually, we also do it officially with written notes. When we have a meeting or when a student has a particular something, we write it and send it to the parent so that it should carry some weight. It remains. But when you talk verbally, people can forget.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, so I think we should also touch the strategies being used because as an institution, I believe there exist strategies put in place for the general evolution of the institution. So I don't know if it's possible you mention some of them.
Coming in strategies and say what?
Okay, let's touch
growing the school
exactly.
or academically or pedagogically.
Growing the school in general because it's a lot of competition.
Yeah, that is true. There's a lot of competition, but Hardford is having a particular touch.
Okay.
It's having a particular touch with the way we teach. With the way we teach, like I mentioned earlier, that we go more practical.
Yeah.
We go more practical than just adding theoretically and following the program. And then we make sure we follow up with the teachers.
Very important.
At the beginning of the year, the teachers deposit their progression sheet. It's a normal phenomenon that in every school there are progression sheets. First thing is to have the material. Second thing is to implement it.
Yeah.
Third thing is to follow up and make sure that what was presented is being implemented.
Very important.
And if they implement and you see that at the end of the day, you didn't get the result that you expected, then you need to do some survey or you need to do some research in order to see what went wrong.
Exactly.
Where. So that's what we do. Those are some of the strategies that we use. And the survey is being done on the students, on the teachers, and on the parents. Yeah, it can be that the teachers are doing their job and the students are not following up. It can be that the students are following up, but some teachers are not doing exactly what they are supposed to do. That is, we follow up in all the different parts, the teachers, the students, and the parents, either by using questionnaires or by interview between teacher and administration or teacher and parents, or organizing a meeting like I just mentioned in order to diagnose how the children behave at home. Because for a student to succeed, they have to be disciplined. That's the first thing. If a student is coming late almost every day, what is sure is that the student will miss out on the first lessons that are being taught. And now, in order to remedy that, we need to involve the parents to know exactly why the student keeps coming late.
That's true.
So those are some of the strategies that we put in place.
All right.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. But I think for a school in the 21st century, you guys also make use of technology. Let me be precise time around. I'll talk about social media. Is Hardford International School making good use, not just use, but good use of social media?
Yeah, of course, we do that. We have a professional, maybe business WhatsApp.
Okay.
And when I talk of business WhatsApp, you know how the business WhatsApp function. You have catalogs that you can put on the business WhatsApp, and most of the contacts that are registered on the business WhatsApp are contacts of parents, and you can go beyond by creating, maybe doing broadcasting in order to advertise Hartford. We also have a Facebook page. We have a Facebook page that has been existing for close to 3 years now.
Okay.
And the name is Hardford International School, as the name goes. From time to time, we run campaigns on the Facebook page. And every activity that we do in school, we always make sure we post it on the Facebook page. And there is obviously a website that we also post every activity that we carry out in Hartford there. www.hartfordedu.com. www.hartfordedu.com.
Great.
Yeah.
And I think with all this communication, there is feedback. So let's touch at the feedback to conclude, of course. Feedback of parents, students, and why not ex-students? And most importantly, what can you say to these people?
There is feedback. There's feedback when we use social media because we have students that their parents are out of the country, that they contact us from out of the country, from East Asia, like UAE, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. We have parents that contact us from Canada, some from the US, some from European countries, to register their kids or their nephews or their nieces that are residing here in Yaoundé. So those are some of the impacts. And our ex-students to also carry the information and bring other students. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So if you are to give them a message today, an advice to the parents, students, and community in general, what will you tell them?
I just want to tell the educational community, potential students of Hartford and potential parents of Hartford, that Hartford is a place to be. I don't know if I'm concluding already. Hartford is a place to be. Why? Because when you give birth to a child, the child will just be sleeping on the bed. After some months, the child will learn how to sit. After some time again, the child will learn how to start crawling. And after some time, the child will stand and start walking. That's exactly what they should expect. We cannot expect that Hartford, they just gave birth to Hartford in 2020. Hartford should be like a 40-year-old man. So we are growing gradually. We have our vision that we have to maintain. That at Hardford International School will in some years run the international system that will open the students globally. And those students studying the national system now are still open globally. Why? Because we have partnership with a lot of universities. We have partnership with universities from Europe. We have Europe, to be precise, UK, Belgium, France, and Switzerland. And then we have partnership with one university in Australia, another in Canada, and 2 other universities in the US. We offer scholarship, partial scholarship, meaning that if you start studying in Hartford and you have advanced level with good grades, we help the students to be able to enroll in some of those universities. And when the student is enrolling or when the student asks for admission coming from Hartford, it is easily granted than other schools. Why? Because we already have that partnership with them. And the school makes sure, the proprietor makes sure, if you started studying in Hartford and you end up in Hartford, gives you maybe a partial scholarship,
which is very important,
to go to those universities. Notwithstanding other universities in Cameroon that we know, we're in partnership with some of them that are into professional training. We're in partnership with some of the universities that are in professional training, and we are still looking forward to have other partnerships so that students, when they come to Hartford, they can study there and know that their future is guaranteed. with either partial or complete scholarship, or with the parents that are financially viable to choose other universities that are asking other measures.
That's great. Thank you so much, Mr. Fuh Zang, for coming, and especially for answering our questions.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for giving me the platform to be able to express myself insofar as Hardford International School is concerned. Thank you.
Indeed, education is a pillar in our society. Thank you so much for viewing and especially for staying glued. Dis-moi ce que tu fais, that's all for today. As a presenter, I am Tatiana Yanda, framing and shot. We have Fabrice Ondoa and also Lemi Rad. Realization, Clara Nyangono. General supervision, Simplice Foge. That's all for today, but always remember at MK Media, we speak for you, so the world can discover you. And also remember to visit our different platforms live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and why not visit our website media-mk.com. Goodbye.